Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Spider, and welcome back to another review. And today we're taking a look at the Star Wars Vintage Collection, The Mandalorian, which is VC181. Last week I had taken a look at the Black Series Beskar Mando, so now it's time for the Vintage Collection version. And the set released back in 2020, and based on their appearance from Star Wars The Mandalorian. So, to get things started, we'll take a look at the packaging. And here we have the box. That's not really a box, but I'm still going to call it that. At the top here, you got Star Wars The Mandalorian. You got Mandalorian. You got a plastic bubble where the figure was. You got an image of the Mandalorian. On the back, you got the number of the figure. You got some other figures that you can get. And a whole bunch of other words, none of which is a bio. Which is kind of sad. Wish they included one, but oh well. And that's pretty much it for that. So, on to the figure. And here we have Beskar Mando, which is a repaint of VC177 Mando. So yeah, it's basically the exact same figure, just without all the black scorch marks on it. Anywho, to start things off, we'll take a look at the articulation. So the head is on a ball joint and a hinge, which allows it to look a decent amount down, a decent amount up. You get some nice tilting. Obviously, it can look all the way around. And the shoulders seem to be on a ratchet joint. You can see kind of like how it clicks into place like that. So, yeah, the shoulders are on ratchets, which honestly is entirely unnecessary for a figure of this size. Like, I really don't think that needed to be included, but whatever. Shoulders can go about that far out. No bicep swivel, but you do get one above the elbow. You get a pretty good bend for a single jointed elbow. Wrist can swivel and can go to tight, but it can go down and up, which is nice. Then you get a ball joint at the torso. Allows you to get a waist swivel. Don't know why my brain was like, nope, we're not going to speak today. But anyways, you can also get some crunching and arching back, which is nice. And some tilting side to side. So, yeah, that ball joint at the torso does a pretty good job of moving it around. Then we come to the hips, and for some reason, they're still using those weird, strange hip joints that plug upward into the body instead of going across. I don't know why they're still using those, but whatever. Allows the figure to get a decent split. You know, the side flaps kind of get in the way. And because of the awkwardness of the joint, the way to make it kick forward is you have to rotate the joint, then push it up, then rotate the leg back so it looks normal, and that is how you kick up. Yeah, so I really don't know why they're still using that joint. They used it on the original Vintage Collection Mando too. It just doesn't make any sense. Just use normal hip joints. Anyways, you get a thigh swivel, a decent bend at the knee, ankle can rotate, can go down and up, no ankle tilt, and that is pretty much it for the articulation on Beskar Mando. And it's pretty good. It is not bad, you know, aside from those strange hip joints. I mean, they still work, but oh, hang on, I forgot to show. Hold up. I forgot to show. It can kick that far back. Alright. Now we're done with the articulation. I forgot about that. My bad. Okay. So articulation is now done. And overall, it's pretty good. You can get a variety of nice looking poses out of this figure. Okay. Now that we're done with the articulation, we can move on to the details. So we'll zoom in right on here. Take a look at the figure. And he is quite shiny. Very shiny. Maybe too shiny. I don't know. I think the choice of silver that they picked for this figure is maybe too bright of a color. I mean, it doesn't look too bad on camera right now, but in hand, he is super bright silver. I think the color they chose for the Beskar Mando was it looked a bit more accurate to the show, but even with this super bright silver, he does not look bad. So, yeah. And of course does have a very nice head sculpt, which I'm pretty sure is the same as the standard vintage Mando. Bring him in here. Yeah, looks like it's pretty much the exact same head sculpt, which makes sense because out of all of his armor, the helmet did not change, just the body armor. Speaking of which, we can take a look at that. So you get the very nice chest plate, the strap going against it, some bullets and stuff. And you get the insignia, which even in this small scale still looks very nice. You get the arm gauntlet, the hand. You got a finger separated for the trigger, which is nice. You got the other arm, the different arm gauntlet. Looks quite nice. You got the little mini bombs on his hip, which are painted much better on this one than my standard Mando figure. Those were not painted very well on that figure at all. Here they look much, much better. Although I do wish they could have painted the red at the very top of it, but whatever. There you go. Get the holster, which is nice. Do a good job trying to replicate that leather effect. You got the legs. And they did remove his knee pad on the right leg, but looking at images from the show, they actually did remove it there as well. But then put it back on in later episodes? I don't know, it's weird. I guess his armor is constantly always shifting, so whatever. Yeah, the boots. Holes at the bottom to plug them into a stand. And on the back of the figure, you get a plastic cape, which could have been a cloth cape, but whatever. And I do think they went a little too dark for the cape. Like, it's pretty much straight black, which I don't think it is in the show. I'm pretty sure it's like a dark brown or gray color, so I don't really like the color they went with this. I think the color they chose for the standard Mando looks a bit better. It's more of a gray than just straight black, but whatever. Move the cape out of the way. Get the back. First at the strap. Back of his legs. So yeah, detail-wise, while I do have a few nitpicks, overall he does still look very, very nice. I really like the look of this figure. Alright, now that we're done with that, if I can get him to stand. Oh yeah, that's something I forgot to mention actually. I don't know if you can see it here, but one of his legs is slightly shorter than the other. Don't know how that happened, but yeah, it makes him a little difficult to stand. And it's difficult to tell if this is the case on all copies, or if it's just mine that somehow got messed up like that, but yeah, one leg shorter than the other. That's kind of annoying. Thankfully it doesn't make him, like, impossible to stand up, but it does make it slightly more difficult than that. Can be frustrating. So, yeah. Don't know how that slipped by, but whatever. Anywho, now we're done with the figure, we can move on to the weapons. First up, we got the IB-94 pistol, which is very silver, just like the armor. I do think they didn't have to go so silver on this one. I think the color for the standard Vintage Collection Mando pistol looked a bit better than this one that's just like pure silver. Like, I don't know, his gun didn't ever look that pristine, but whatever. Got the indentation at the front. I like that. Appreciative. And of course, he can hold it. Get into his hand. That looks nice. And if you don't want him holding it, you do get that nice holster that it just slides right in like that. Very nice. He's standing good. Well, now we can move on to the Amban Phase Pulse Sniper Rifle. Which is pretty much the same as the standard VC Mando, except now, like, some of the parts of the gun are cast in this almost translucent plastic, like right here and at the tip. I don't know why they did that, instead of just leaving it normal. That was kind of odd. Like, I don't know why they changed the guns. I feel like the ones on the standard Mando were perfect. I don't know why they spruced them up for this figure. It's like, his armor got upgraded, not his weapons. Why did you change them? That didn't make any sense, but I don't know. And of course, you can get him to hold it. And that does look quite nice. And if you wanted him holding it up more so to his face, this is about the close as you can get it, which, not too bad. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Then we come to his final accessory, the jetpack, which looks quite nice. And I really love how they actually casted it out of a shiny plastic, so it actually like reflects light and looks shiny just like the armor. I mean, it's not the same shade of color, obviously, but it's nice and reflective like the armor is. The Black Series Beskar Mando didn't do that. It was just a flat gray. So the fact that this one is a nice reflective color, or a reflective plastic, is very nice. It makes it look really cool and just like it did in the show. So I'm very appreciative of that. You get some nice details on there. The big old peg to plug it into the back. And oh, speaking of plugging things on the back, I've completely forgot to mention, just like the VC186 Mando, you get a peg, you got a hole, you just line things up, and hold on, I didn't line it up properly. Line up the strap first. Come on. What? Hang on a second. Okay, there we go. I don't know why that was so difficult, but yeah, there. You get the sniper plugged right onto his back, which looks very nice. We gotta take it off because, unfortunately, you cannot have the rifle and the jetpack stored on the back at the same time. But, oh well, whatever. You know, it's not the end of the world. And unlike the Black Series Mando, this figure actually came up with a solution, because since it has a plastic cape, it sort of gets in the way of plugging the jetpack on the back. Well, this figure actually came up with a solution to that. You peg right there, or a hole right there, and then you peg it in, and there's still room for the cape to flow over the back. And there you go. Yeah, see, it's that simple. Just figured out a nice, quick solution so that the cape can still look nice on the back, and you can have the jetpack. Don't know why the Black Series one couldn't do that. Although, an even easier solution to fix this would just be give the figure a cloth cape, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know what Hasbro's issue was with giving Mando a cloth cape. Thankfully, more modern releases, both in Black Series and Vintage Collection line, do give him a cloth cape. Don't know why it took them so long, but hey, eventually they did it, so that's nice. But anyways, you get the jetpack on the back, and that looks very, very nice. Yeah, it doesn't get in the way of the cape at all. It's not the most secure connection. It can come off a little easy, but it's not the worst connection. Like, it's not going to pop off if you breathe on it or something like that, so that's nice. So let's get the rifle back in his hand. There we are. So, yeah, that is... Dang it. He does have a bit of a looser grip than the 166 VC Mando. I don't know what's going on with that. But whatever. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this Mando. So we can move on to the size comparisons. So, first things first, as always, here it is with a LEGO minifigure. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Mothra. With the Pack of Destruction minifigure Godzilla. On to some more relevant size comparisons. Here it is with the Galaxy of Adventures Luke Skywalker. With the Black Series 3.75 Stormtrooper. With the Saga Legends Super Battle Droid. Here he is with the Black Series The Child, which, while not, great scale-wise, still doesn't look too bad together. With the Vintage Collection 166 Mando. You can see they kind of compare with each other. It's not too bad. And finally, here it is with the previous review, the Black Series Beskar Mando. Now that we're done with all that, it's measuring time. So get this extended, set it up next to the figure, and we can see that he is basically 4 inches tall. And I knocked him over. And I hit the camera. Man, I'm knocking everything over. Oof. So, that is pretty much it for the Vintage Collection 181 Mandalorian. And overall, I think he's pretty good. I do quite like the figure. It does have some faults here and there, but overall, it's a nice figure. I think they did a good job with him. Yeah, and if you wanted this for yourself, on eBay it's going for around $13 to $15. Even brand new in the box. So, yeah, it's still going for really good prices. So, if you're interested, I definitely recommend picking this guy up. Anywho, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Hope you all enjoyed. See you later. Sayonara. Bye.